Hello, hello. Hi, hello. Welcome to Love Tips and Velvet Lips. I am Marla Renee Stewart here to help you with questions around your love life, around intimacy, around your sex life, and in anything else that is related to that. I'm happy to oblige to talk about this Monday morning because it is the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day today, along with our presidential inauguration. So it's very interesting. And I am just so kind of like, this is fascinating, right? These two things, which to me feel very contradictory, but that's neither here nor there. Hey, Black Autist, how you doing? Thanks for being here. I am here live on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Again, to help you answer any kind of questions that you have for me. Really just, you can submit them anonymously at qrco.de/lovetipsama. You can always submit your questions at any given point in time. So even if you view this a little bit later, you can submit your question and I will have a answer for you. You said the presidential inauguration of a convict. Yes, right, of a felon. It's very fascinating, right? We are turning a new leaf here because it's going to be interesting, right? Because the people who voted for the first time, and like this is like their first president. So it's almost like anybody can be president, even if you are a felon. Yeah, I mean, how American is that? So many feels, so many words this morning. It's we've been through this before, I believe. I'm not sure if this is this is just sort of a round two kind of thing happening. And thinking about what our country stands for, it's not particularly shocking. I remember having my friends and colleagues being like devastated that Trump won the vote. And I was kind of like, are we really shocked? I mean, this has happened before. And I wasn't particularly shocked. It's I believe the presidency has always been a kind of popularity contest. And the people who are running those electoral votes, we have to know what those people all look like. And I assure you, most likely they all look like Trump, or most of them look like Trump. So, you vote for who you would feel closest to, usually, like, even though they're like at a distance or whatever, you usually vote for someone who just kind of like looks like you, right? So there is that. Yes. So anyway, I am open to any of your suggestions or any of your questions. If you haven't downloaded my erotic activity bucket list, please make sure you go ahead and do that. You can do that by going to bit.ly/eroticme and get that free bucket list. It's a really great list just to let you know, like, hey, how do you kind of spice up your love life and how to make it a little bit better than it was before. Especially in these trying times, we want to release some of that stress, anxiety, pressure, and continue to nurture ourselves and our self-love and care, because it will be important for the next 4 years, and really for the rest of your life. So if you want to know the latest of what is happening, please make sure you check out my sort of link tree. It's pillar.io, pillar.io/Velvet Lip Sex Ed. That's sex without the E. And I have a question here. Says, should I disclose my disability when vetting for a new play partner? This is such a great question. I am going to put it up so the people can see it. So let me see here. I'm going to make sure I have your name. All right. This is such a great question. So the question is, oops, and I spelled it wrong. Let me redo that because on Instagram. All right. Make sure I get that right. So the question is, should I disclose my disability when vetting for a new play partner? And my answer to you is, number one, you have to feel comfortable disclosing your disability. So if you feel comfortable disclosing your disability, I think that is fine. Now, what we do actually really want in when we're playing in a scene is we really want informed consent. And with informed consent, it means that we know something about you that maybe you are withholding, or that we know that if we do something that it can impact the scene or the play or the experience. So I personally would advise you to disclose, absolutely, because it allows, like if I was playing with you, it allows me to understand you a little bit better. It allows me to, have some, if I know about the disability or if I don't know about the disability, this is the opportunity to learn more, right? About like, what are the particular maybe quirks that might happen if, or issues or harm that can be done in a scene. So this is an opportunity to give examples or to just really be, out about, what's happening or what might happen in a scene. So if we want to avoid that altogether, I highly suggest disclosing your disability. I highly suggest disclosing a lot of things, in my sort of online application, or when I'm, going to be playing with someone. There's a lot of things that I'm thinking about, including injuries, including, if you are on meds, did you take those meds today? There's so many things that could go awry if you are not informed, right? So I can give you an example. For instance, I had somebody who had CSA, child sexual trauma, and I was doing a breath play scene with them, and they did not disclose that. And, not to say, of course, I was safe, but I did the things that I needed to do. And they enjoyed themselves. And then they ended up telling me afterwards. And so then I was kind of taken aback, because I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like, are you going to be okay? Did I, trigger something for you? Like, the last thing I want to do is harm you in any way. So I really, really, really do want to encourage you to disclose. Now, it is your prerogative, right? We all have choices in this world. We all have choices that we make. And if you don't think it's relevant to the scene at hand, or do you think that it's not necessarily needed, then, I say that's up to you. I really value bodily autonomy and mental autonomy. And so I I think that it is whatever you feel is the best for you. Um, but if it were me, I'd be like, tell me everything, because I want this to be fantastic. I want this to be a memorable experience. So please disclose, right? So thank you for that wonderful question. I appreciate that. Really good question. And it's really hard vetting for people too, right? Like, um, it's we don't know about everybody's past, so it's super good to have like referrals. But of course, if it's someone who you've never played with, it's for the first time, I think really having an extensive amount of questions to ask them is going to be one of the best things that you could do, because then this allows them to be more self-aware about their own bodies. And then you can jump in there being like, hey, this is how, we can move. Move forward with that. So great question. Thank you so much. I got some comments say banana. Hi. Well, hi, banana. Link StreamYard. I think it's in the show notes. So if you are a fan of this, the way this looks, you can use StreamYard. I have been looking at other cost-effective alternatives. But so far, this is the one that I haven't had a chance to like really do a deeper dive, but I do like StreamYard. So please feel free to look at it in the little show notes where it displays what the description is. It should have a link to my affiliate link to StreamYard. But hi, thanks for being here. Thank you. I'm glad you are here. Just as a reminder too, make sure you check the calendar. You can always go to velvetlipsexed.com/calendar, as well as you can make sure you are coming to SDS Sex Down South this September. We are, tickets go up in price. So if you need a payment plan or something like that, please make sure you email me, get that locked in, because you don't want to be without that. And you can also use my code MarlaSCS to get 20% off of that ticket. So please make sure you check that out. It's an amazing conference. We're going into our 11th year, and we are going to be talking about spiritual awakening and what that means. So we're super excited about the theme. And we're back at the Cortland Grand. So yeah, that's where we are at. So again, if you have questions, you can submit them anonymously at going to qrco.de/lovetipsama, or you can put them in the comments, and I am happy to answer them at any given point in time to ensure that you are getting your questions answered. Okay, so the subject at hand. I forgot to do this before I got on here. That's okay. I am in the process of finalizing my blog for this week, and I'm just, going through the editing process. But this week really is all about ways to love your lover, right? How to, really build connection through intentionally loving, right? So it's not just about the love languages or whatever, but it's really about the intentionality around what you're doing. Okay. Now, the first thing I definitely think you should think about is, speaking their love language, right? So we know Dr. Chapman's homophobic, love languages, but Anne Hoddership also has the modern love languages, which are really cool too, which has like 18 different kinds of love languages, sort of like, hey, these are also some other ways that people receive love. And so it acts as a roadmap on how your lover, your partner may feel the most love. And so what you have to do is you have to listen, right? Like, do they complain? What do they complain about missing, right? It might be something like, you never compliment me. So that means maybe there are more words of affirmation. Or you can have them, take the quiz, whatever the case may be. You can observe, right? How do they show love? And then maybe act upon that, right? They may clean the house to show that they care, but maybe that act of service is something that you do that you would like for them to do, right? And then, of course, you can always ask directly, right? You can send them the quiz. Hey, what is your love language? It's going to help you focus your efforts effectively. So if the top are words of affirmation, quality time, and receiving gifts, you can act accordingly. Okay. So that's number one. Please speak their love language. Number two is really make date nights sacred, right? You don't have to go out on a date night. You don't have to do all the things. A date night is just really about spending really quality time together. It's about the intentionality. It's about to reconnect. It's about being away from your phone, right? So, if you're at home, you could cook a meal together, watch your favorite movie or watch a new movie or play a board game or something along those lines. I love strategy games, so big fan. Or if you want to go out, if you're want to go out, try a new restaurant, maybe attend a concert, take a walk in the park, really just kind of get out. But whatever you do, just really focus on one another. And again, putting away your phone, immerse yourself with your lover in that particular moment. Another thing to do is to practice daily affection. I cannot scream this from the rooftops loud enough. But practicing daily affection is it's not just the physicality of it, right? It's the emotional tether that keeps you there. So starting the day with a kiss or warm I love you, sending sweet texts during the day, offer, a loving touch when you pass by. But this helps to foster that love and safety and security that we need to be productive lovers, right? Another thing to do is to also plan romantic escapades, right? So, whether that's, I had a couple that used to do sort of monthly escapades, like a weekend out of the month, and just be give the kids to the grandparents and just got a hotel and, had their way with each other, right? So monthly or even quarterly getaways, those provide an opportunity to really reignite passion and step outside sort of the daily grind of the busyness that that happens, in the hustle and grind of trying to stay alive in this culture. So maybe it's a weekend camping trip. Maybe it's a hotel, adventure. Maybe it's a spa day. Maybe it's just let's just go to a nearby town, a few hours away, and see what's happening there, right? These are the things that help to create memories that keep your relationship vibrant, reflections about what, happened during that time. If budget or your time is really tight, you can have a romantic escapade that can happen in your home, right? Dedicate the evening to maybe recreating your first date, or planned a themed dinner, or just, stargazing from your front or backyard, right? Something that you can do to just really, set the mood. And there is a romance concierge here in Miami, which I found when I first moved here. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. A romance concierge. And so, doing stuff like that can really be helpful. And just really, seeking advice. I'm sure you could probably Google some, what are some romantic gestures that you could do, or some romantic things that you could put around to make your home more romantic looking. So you do that. Another thing to do, right, is really engage in their passions, right? If, they love hiking, maybe you plan a trail adventure. If they are a music enthusiast, maybe you go to a live performance or listen to their favorite album. If you like crafting or gaming, maybe you sit alongside them and engage, see what they're doing, see how they're playing, what is it that makes it fun to them. And just know that if it's not your personal interest, your willingness alone to engage demonstrates that you are also valuing that joy that they have. Okay. So Number six is do the little things, right? We know the little things speak volumes, right? Maybe you're, making their morning coffee just the way they like it before, while they're waking up, or maybe filling up their gas tank, so they don't have to, or surprising them with their favorite snack, right? Like, think about the small little details of their life and let your actions show that you care. Number seven is prioritizing intimacy. We know research shows that prioritizing sex is one of the top two factors in long-lasting relationships, right? Alongside kindness. So intimacy goes just beyond the physical pleasure, right? It's a way to bond. It's a way to tether yourself. It's a way to the partner emotionally, physically. So when you set time for intimacy, that is important. And even if it requires scheduling, a lot of people try to be like, oh, I want to do something spontaneous, and spontaneity is cool. But when you got a lot of things to do, spontaneous ain't that cool, right? So just the scheduling of it is super important. Really discussing any kind of fantasies, any kind of desires, any kind of boundaries that will help you sort of keep the spark alive, right? So maybe discussing them and maybe wanting to enact upon them, right? That's why I have my bucket list, is so that people can discover, oh, hey, maybe I've never tried that before. Maybe it's something that I would like to try now, right? And then, of course, not overlooking the importance of the non-physical touch, right? Cuddling, massages, that booty grab, anything to kind of maintain a connection with your lover is going to be important. And then, of course, be kind. Be kind. Be kind. Being kind is a daily practice. It is the unsung hero of happy relationships. It's reflected in how you respond to your lover's needs, how you manage conflict, and how you show appreciation, right? So practicing that gratitude, I appreciate you because of this, right? Regularly thanking your partner for their efforts, whether they're big or small. Using soft language during disagreements, right? Prioritize understanding over winning. And then celebrating their successes, no matter how minor they seem, right? So understand that kindness isn't just about maintaining love, right? It is the thing that builds it. So, my final thoughts here are, when we think about loving our lovers, it's really about being present. It's really about prioritizing your connection with one another and meeting their needs in ways that make them feel valued, and important and relevant, right? Relationships thrive when both partners commit to intentional love, blending romance with kindness, intimacy, and mutual respect. And remember, the little things you do every day are just as impactful as the big grand gestures you plan, occasionally. So just know effort and care can ensure your relationship continues to grow and flourish. So, thinking about this, right? I want you to think about how, if you have a lover, how will you love your lover today? What are the things that you are going to do to ensure your success, right? What are the things that you are going to do to prioritize the intimacy, love, the kindness in your relationship? So these are all super, super important. If you want to know more, please check out my free Arts and Science of Seduction class. You can go to velvetlipsexed.com/shop to check that out. All right, y'all. This has been amazing. Thank you all for being here and talking about ways to love your lover. Next week, we are going to go a little bit of a deeper dive into those love languages. So we'll hit up, Gary Chapman's love languages as well as Anne's modern love languages. to talk about all the different kinds of love languages, and maybe something out there will tickle your own fancy around love language, and you can bring that attention to your lover if you are not watching this together. So I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. And if you aren't signed up for my mailing list, please make sure you do that, because you can get exclusive discounts on the classes that I will be teaching. So I have some really great classes. I have some classes coming to Starship in person. So if you are in the Southeast, and I probably will be coming to a store near you for some classes, doing about one a month. So I'm super, super excited about that possibility. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you next Monday. Please take care of yourselves today. Get yourself a nice warm bath. Think about, how you want to take care of yourself, these next 4 years, and let's hope we can move forward in peace, y'all. So thank you all so much for being here. And I will see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.